Hi, beloveds. I am in this crunch time kind of experience of having so much I want to do and questioning if I have time. And I know from experience because 4 years ago I started this practice of putting heaven first. Then I have endless time. All things infinite uh, comes about. And it took a real lot of courage to step into this because at the time I was doing a master's program with research, part-time had a part-time job, and starting a business. And when I was focusing on just doing those things, I was really stressed and felt myself going crazy. So I decided to devote at least 3 hours. Well, I didn't put any time on it. I decided to devote the morning as I woke up to meditation and divine practice, reading, studying Course in Miracles, and reading divine scriptures and listening to Abraham Hicks and channelings of Jesus and higher beings, and even speaking to friends too that were spiritual and on this path. So I would oftentimes spend 3 hours in the morning just devoted to heaven first, to the peace within first. Heaven comes from within. I devoted that time first, and then all things just came together. In fact, I found time to join a theater group and more time to have with my friends. I found just this like infinity, this endlessness of time when I focused on seeking heaven within first. So this is a breakthrough point that we're at right now. I can feel it. It's like running a marathon and being in the last miles, feeling exhausted with muscle cramps and dehydration and wanting to give up. But this point that we're at here is to break through into our true selves, our Christed beings, letting go of the ego. And it is paying attention to any time you feel, well, if that person would do that, or if that person would say that, or if that person would ask for forgiveness, or if that person would spend more time with me, or looking outward, you are you're playing the same old record of denying your divine sovereignty and and misplacing looking for your peace outside of yourself when the heaven is within. Jesus got it. And it's amazing how our whole world shifted around Jesus. Our calendar is around Jesus. And our whole way of being has made a shift since Jesus. And this is a time for an additional shift into, as he said, what I have done you can do too, and even greater. So it's accessing the Christed self within us so that this beautiful Christed being is not alone, but he has playmates. He has us in the Christedness. Yet it doesn't work to hold on to a little bit of distortion. And oftentimes we rationalize that it's just a little bit. And we don't even see it that way. It's like, well, this is what people do. People, as a couple, they do things together. And it's creating this outside of yourself experience, and therefore also trying to manipulate another person to be outside of their self. So it's this ego separation concept that doesn't want to die and doesn't want to allow for the Christed being that you are to just exist in its fullness. And anytime you look and say, well, this is what they do, or generalize a group of people, creating any kind of separation, any kind of naming, you are going outside of your Christed self. And it's only hurting you ultimately, but it hurts everybody, because the peace world is when we are living in our Christed selves. So I'm going to give a exercise here that is one that many of you know, but I'm going to add a dimension to it. It's the Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is to say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry is for recognizing the ego distortion, act or words or thoughts that we had. Please forgive me is about, well, that's kind of what being in the 3D world is about, is having this ego and having this separation. So we accept that it's there. And then thank you is when we recognize our higher dimensional beingness, our Christedness, our divine mastered self, together with the third dimensional human ego self, that we accept and we embrace and we allow for it all. That's the thank you. And I love you is when we're resonating on that higher level of oneness, where we all are at home in our true beingness, as the angels and the Christed divine ascended masters that we are, the gods and goddesses that we are. So with this new insight, I'm sorry I do these ego acts and thoughts as part of my experience in this third dimension, fourth dimension reality. Please forgive me. That's recognizing that that's part of the package of being in the physical world. Thank you. Recognizing that we're multidimensional and that we have these higher dimensions of the God and Goddess and Christ itself. I love you is when we're resonating in that Christ itself oneness. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Take a deep breath in. Connect with your breath through your whole body, through your whole being. Feel your diamond light as you exhale and release. I know there was something else that I wanted to share, but at this moment, let's just be in this moment, breathing. We are connecting the dimensions, that we are ascended masters that can live in physical form. I'm sorry, my 3D self is acting and thinking. Please forgive me. I recognize that that's part of the 3D, 4D, and we are, thank you, in many different levels. I love you in our oneness. Go forth with this day and with blessings.